Today's show is sponsored by the New Orleans Bourbon Festival. Enjoy exceptional bourbon, bourbon seminars, and cuisine surrounded by the charm and culture of New Orleans. The dates are March 24 through 26. Learn more at NewOrleansBourbonFestival.com. We are also sponsored by Round Table Woodworks and BarrelChips.com. They are bringing whiskey smoke to your favorite foods with their authentic whiskey barrel smoking chips.
You're listening to the Firewater Review. This is a podcast dedicated to whiskey reviews. On today's show, we will be reviewing Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit. I am your host, Seth Brown. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Aaron Cave. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing great. How about you, Seth?
I'm doing fantastic. I get to drink bourbon, and I get to talk to a friend. So, I can't complain. Tonight, as I mentioned, we're going to be drinking Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit, and I've been pretty excited about this. I just picked this bottle up this past weekend, and I've kind of been on the search for one of these store picks, and I knew that there was one down in Florida where we go on vacation close by to where my parents live, and there were a couple of left at the store, so I snagged one of them and popped it open that night, and texted you about it, and you said, we need to review this on the next show.
Yep.
So here we are. I think you're actually the one that got me excited about this one. I'd seen it a couple times, and it's always kind of piqued my interest, but I've never pulled the trigger when I see it. And, you know, especially being a private pick of it, I was super excited about it. And lo and behold, the store still had a couple left, so I snagged it, and here we are. So what can you tell us about this magnificent spirit?
Well, you know, I'm a huge Wild Turkey fan, and I love all of their single barrel expressions that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any store pick I usually get my hands on, I try to buy. Especially the Kentucky Spirit is just a great everyday drinker. 101 proof. So it's just great to sit down and have, you know, right after dinner or, you know, pretty much whenever. But so as I mentioned, Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit is 101 proof. It is a single barrel bourbon from Wild Turkey. It's aged somewhere between 8.5, 9.5 years. And being a single barrel, it pretty much means is they take the bung off the barrel, they take the barrel, and they dump it. They don't blend any other barrels to it. They just dump it, and then Wild Turkey adds water to bring it down to 101 proof.
Right.
And kind of the neat thing about Wild Turkey is their distillate, when it comes off the still, it's at a lower proof than most other distillers. So it's they don't have to add a whole lot of water to their bourbons, so you get much more flavor out of their bourbons. Mm-hmm. But being a single barrel, every bottle you buy, unless it's from the exact same barrel, is going to have a different flavor. They try to keep it consistent, but every barrel is different, you know?
Yeah.
So, and Wild Turkey also uses the number 4 alligator char, mm-hmm. So deep char on their barrels. So more flavor, it's easier for the bourbon to penetrate and get all those wood sugars and just tons of flavor from it. So a little bit of kind of just extra notes on this is, so the brand, the Kentucky Spirit, was released in 1994, and it's said to be the second single barrel bourbon released after Blanton's.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I've found out. Wild Turkey's mash bill is 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. And you know, for the longest time, Jimmy Russell handpicked all these barrels for just to be barreled or for people to come down and do their barrel program. So Jimmy Russell's was tasting these barrels and then rolling them out for other people to try and sample and pick. Well, and now Eddie's doing it. So it's just, it's if you've never been to Wild Turkey, it's definitely the distillery you have to stop by, because you can always find Jimmy and Eddie just hanging out in the gift shop, just talking to people. They do all their picks. I've been to Jim Beam to do a pick, and we just got whoever was on that day to do the picks. Right. But Wild Turkey, Eddie still does all the picks, so it's cool. It's a great distillery to check out for sure.
That's a nice personal touch, You get to meet the people that are actually behind. I mean, all the as long as we've been alive, and really our parents too, all the history behind that brand.
Yeah. Me and my brother went and did. We've done the Bourbon Trail the past like 3 years every year in March, and we stop at Wild Turkey. And past couple times, Eddie's just been hanging out there in the gift shop reading the newspaper. So you walk up, say hi, and talk to him, and it's a cool experience.
Hard day's work right there.
Yeah.
What year did you say this was introduced? 94?
94.
94. Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's a single barrel. It usually runs around 50-ish.
Yeah. Depends on where you get it. I mean, price can vary. It's actually not in Ohio, so I usually have to travel down to Kentucky to get a bottle, and it's always smaller shops are going to have it a little bit higher price than like the Party Source or something like that. But usually it's somewhere between 45 and 50.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd never actually had it prior to picking up this one. I'd had the 101 and the 86 and what else? I've had Master's Keep, a sample of that. Mm-hmm. And something interesting about Wild Turkey too is that they don't really have any higher proof bourbons. I mean, like their barrel proof isn't a whole heck of a lot higher than 101.
Yeah. So Rare Breed's sitting at 112.
Right.
And that's it comes off the still really low. So 112 is as high as you got after it's been aging for 12 years and no water added. It's tons of flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to think their prices are still pretty reasonable on all of their products. I mean, Rare Breed is around 50.
Yeah, I picked up a bottle the other day for I think 40 here in Columbus.
Yeah. And then Forgiven, which I think is being discontinued, if you can still pick it up, it's around 50-ish. And then the Kentucky Spirit is 50, and then you've got Russell's Reserve. Those are I want to say those are like 35, 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're all still pretty reasonably priced, and they're all solid. I have to think that with. I mean, there's a longevity to the brand, of course, and especially to Jimmy Russell and even now Eddie Russell. But I have to think with prices rising the way they are, these have kind of stayed fairly consistent on their price, and it's good quality. You can almost always find one of their expressions in a store somewhere, so it's they're definitely worth checking out. I think Wild Turkey gets overlooked a lot just because of some of the Beam and Buffalo Trace brands that are out there now. But I mean, in my opinion, they're all solid expressions. They really are, especially for the price. So,
totally agree with you.
So, is yours a store pick by chance?
It is actually. It is a store pick by Jamie Ferris out of the Lincoln Road Packaging Company. And if you have not had any of his picks, he has an amazing palate. He picks some of the best bourbons I've had. Me and my brother spend a lot of money with that guy, but he's anytime he has something, he'll send me something. Hey, getting this in. I'm like, yep, I want it. So Yeah, love all of his picks. They're all great. This one was from 2015, actually. It was done in Warehouse A, and I think it was Rick number 4-1-1. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about this one. When I picked it up, it didn't have any of the warehouse or Rick number on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just
it
it was bottled on 10/12 15 from barrel 2012.
Yeah, my barrel's kind of rubbed off. I can't tell if it's a 3 or a 5. I want to say it's 3,472.
Cool. Yeah, I've had I can't remember what it was. I think it was an old Scout from Lincoln Road, and they're outside of Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, yes.
Or is it Hattiesburg? I think it's Jackson. So yeah, if you can come across any of their picks, definitely pick them up. Well, cool. Anything else?
I think that's it for my notes.
All right.
So let's get to tasting.
Yep, that sounds like an excellent plan to me. So we'll take a quick break. Aaron and I will jot down a few notes. When we come back, we'll give this a quick review and a score. So we'll see you after the break.
Dirty Knees Soap Co. DirtyKneesSoap.com. Dirty Knees Soap Co.
Hey, Seth, we've spent a lot of time talking about the soap at Dirty Knee Soap, and it is some fantastic stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But there's also other products that they sell, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. They've got face and body and hand lotions. They've got bean all over. I've really digged that one. And they also, my favorite is the Minnesota Wood. They have Minnesota Wood hand and body lotions. They have gift boxes. So if you've got, a birthday or a Christmas gift that you need to give, they've got that. Gift boxes that comes in a little set of a body wash and lotion. They've got one of Evan's favorite things on the site is the soap bed. He really digs that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the little thing you put in the shower to leave the bar soap on.
Yeah.
It dries out just the way it should. So you get
it's more like a display case for me, though, because it sits there for so long in between uses. It's just a way for me to show off the soap that I occasionally use. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they've got, they have a shirt too. Dirty Knees shirts.
4XL? Can you get it in a 4XL?
Perhaps. I don't know. I'll check on that though. Maybe that'll be in the gift box that I buy for you.
Yeah. Hey. Awesome. Dirty Knees Soap Co. DirtyKneesSoap.com. Use promo code Bourbon20 to receive 20% off your first purchase.
All right, welcome back, everybody. In the break, we have been reviewing Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit Single Barrel Bourbon. And as usual, I will let Aaron kick it off with his notes. So let us know what you think of it, good sir.
All right, so as I was saying earlier, this is a single barrel private pick by Jamie Ferris out of Lincoln Road Packaging Shop. And it was bottled in 2015 from Warehouse A, and Rick number 4-1-1. So on the nose on this, it's just got a great traditional bourbon nose. You got the hints of vanilla and caramel right up front. Then I get a little bit of this candied pecans, almost like the fair pecans that you buy that are all like sugary. Yeah, brown sugar. Get a nice rye black pepper hint in there, a little bit of oak, and right at the end I get little hints of fig, apples, and just light citrus, almost like an orange peel.
Yeah.
It's very well balanced nose, and the palate is just It's pretty full bodied for being 101. It kind of surprised me how thick and viscous it was on the tongue. It's very sweet forward, and it's got a lot of nuttiness to it. So it's right up front. It's like sweet corn, brown sugar, vanilla, bam, right in your face. And then it kind of calms down, and I just get these hints of peanuts and like toasted almonds with a little bit of that orange peel comes back. Just a little bit of the dark fruits like raisins or dried cherries. Then after that kind of fades, I get that great black pepper and rye spice, and just a hint of cinnamon, followed by oak and leather at the end. It's very well balanced, and the finish is it's long. It's not super long, but it's long, and got a lot of honey on the finish. Honey and almost like a simple syrup, and then oak and rye. It's just and it just sits with you, stays with you. It's a great pour. I'm sitting somewhere between. I'm gonna give it an 89. This is just a great pour and well balanced. It's perfect for me.
Love it. Yeah, it's such a good pour, and like I said before the break, I honestly had not had any of the Kentucky Spirit, and you see it down here in Atlanta. You don't see it a whole lot though. Most of the stores carry your 101 and your 86, and occasionally you'll see the rare breed, but that's really about the extent of the wild turkey that anyone carries around here. So it's not often that you see the Kentucky Spirit. But after doing this show and you kind of talking it up, then I was definitely on the hunt for it, and so I was super stoked to pick this bottle up. But yeah, 89's a great score. My bottle, as I've mentioned too, it doesn't, oddly enough, and they had 2 bottles left, and neither one of them had the warehouse on it. So I thought, just looking at this, maybe it was, they'd forgotten it on it, but the other one didn't have them either. So this one is from Wine World in Destin, Florida. And it was bottled on 10/12/15 from barrel number 2012, and it was stored in warehouse blank on Rickhouse number blank. But as all of them are, it's 101 proof, and as I said, it was from Wine World. It's such a good traditional bourbon. I think you used the same word too. It's just, the nose that I had on mine, it was just full of caramel and had some sugar. The sweetness really leads the way there in the nose, but it is eventually balanced out by some nice black pepper notes, some cinnamon spice, and I was also getting a little nutmeg on mine, and the pecans. Wild turkey is they're very consistent in the nutty notes that their bourbons have. So I was picking up the pecans here on the notes of this one. The initial taste on the palate, it's a very nice blast of cinnamon and black pepper upon entry, and then that, after giving it a really good Kentucky chew, it starts to open up to some of the sweeter flavors that I was picking up on the nose. The caramel comes through along with some vanilla. I get a little bit of citrus. You mentioned, I think you got some citrus on the nose. I was picking up some citrus on the palate. It's a nice little zing in there. It's kind of like once the initial cinnamon and black pepper start to calm down a little bit, the caramel kind of eases in there and smooths it out, and then that citrus just kind of jumps in there, and that for me kind of started bringing back some of the spicy notes that kicked off the tail end of the spicy notes that kicked off the front end of the palate, that kind of brought that back towards the tail end of it. But that led me into a medium to long finish. where I was getting tobacco and leather. There's a little bit of clove there on the finish, and those the pecans that I was picking up in the nose were here. But that really helped to kind of bookend this one with those sweet aromas, those sweet flavors, and you had some of that nice cinnamon and black pepper spice there in the middle. There's some brown sugar showing up towards the tail end of it, and I just thought it was a really, really well balanced bourbon. It's this one's a medium to full bodied bourbon. I wish it was just a little bit more full bodied, and I wish that finish just lasted a little bit longer, because I really enjoyed a lot of those flavors in there that I was getting, especially on the tail end of that finish. And I gave this one an 88. So we were once again very close. Very close.
That's an 88.5.
So we don't like hard math on this show.
Yeah, we don't. I just want to say I still have a nice little burn on my chest, and I am still tasting honey on my tongue from when I tried it right before you started talking.
Oh yeah.
So it's I mean, this it just sits with you. That's what I love. That's what I love about almost all the turkey products. I mean, the finishes can hang around if you have the right bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, this one wasn't bad. I just wish that, I think if it had just a little bit more spice to it,
yeah,
it would have helped pull that finish out just a little bit longer. And like I said, this one was medium, kind of leaning more towards a full bodied, and I think had it been a little bit more full bodied, some of that the spice would have been a little bit more prevalent in this one and would have helped carried it out a little bit longer. But overall, I can't complain about it. It's a solid bottle, and like I was saying before we started recording, I just picked this up last weekend, and I'm probably a third of the way through it already. And I had to text my parents and tell them that if the other bottle is still available, to pick up the other one for me.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, I mean, these are single barrel products, so every barrel is going to be different.
Yeah,
we are going to have different notes from two different barrels, but turkey's pretty in line with their flavor profile. I mean, Eddie and Jimmy know what they're doing. So,
do you know, as far as picking wild turkey barrels, do they, like Four Roses gives you what, like 8 barrels or whatever?
Well, so it's kind of funny with Four Roses. They used to roll out all 10 recipes, and you would go in, they would have them all covered. You would taste all 10 recipes, and after you went through, tasted everything, and you picked the one you liked the best, then they revealed what you picked, and then what proof it was, what the age statement on it was, and all that. With turkey, I don't know how many. I haven't been fortunate enough to do a turkey pick yet, and I'm hoping to at some point. That's on my bucket list. My bourbon bucket list was I really wanted to do a Knob Creek, and I really wanted to do a turkey. And I got my Knob Creek out of the way, and so now I'm working on turkey, and hopefully that'll come around sometime soon. But I don't know what they do with turkey, but I know Eddie Russell does all the picks usually still, and I know you can probably go through. I want to say maybe 6 or 7 barrels. They may be more. I mean, they're so nice there. You could probably just keep tasting until you find what you want.
Just hang out with Eddie in the gift shop and say, I don't know about this one. Bring me another one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Four Roses is kind of cool though, how you get to taste all 10 recipes. But I think they're down. There's 2 that they've been short on recently.
Mm-hmm.
They need to keep them back for the yellow label. So I think they're only allowing people to pick only 8 recipes now.
Yeah, I think that's right. There was somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook that had just gone up there and helped pick a Four Roses barrel. And they have a whiteboard where they have all the recipes of the barrels that they have rolled out. And they kind of mark all the votes next to each recipe on what they want. And I remember counting 8 there. So I think that's right. And that was just, a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, when we picked ours for the Whiskey Barrel Society, we only went through 9. They did not have the OESQ available because they were kind of running short on that.
Well, maybe we should do a wild turkey pick for this show. That would be a fun time.
I think we should. That would be. I mean, I would love to do either a Kentucky Spirit or a Russell's. So
can't go wrong. I don't.
Nope.
Well, all right. This was a pretty good pour this evening. What did we say was 88.5?
0.5.
Nice. That's a very solid score for a very solid bourbon. So if you come across Kentucky Spirit, as Aaron mentioned, it is a single barrel bourbon. So each barrel is going to differ just a little bit from the next. But if you do see it and you haven't had it, or if you do see it and have had it, it's worth a pick or worth a pickup. $50. You get about a 8 to 9.5 year old bourbon at 101 proof, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed.
I don't think so either.
So, with that said, where can folks find you at?
So I am on Instagram and Twitter at Bourbon Cave. I write for the Bourbon Zeppelin, high proof, single barrel, non-chill filtered bourbons. You can find that column in there. I also write for the Sons of Winston Churchill, and you can also find me here on the Firewater Review with Seth. And I think that's it.
Cool. I am Seth P. Brown on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on this show, of course, the Firewater Review. You can also find me on the Bourbon Show. I've actually been popping up on, well, it just popped up recently on one of the other shows, Steve Akeley's The Bourbon Chronicles. He is interviewing the people, the other co-hosts from the ABV network. So he's got an episode of that just dropped. So check out that show. He's doing a great job with it. Love the interviews, love the format of it. So check that out. That's The Bourbon Chronicles. You can find that on abvnetwork.com, along with all of the other shows that we do on this network. That includes this show, the Firewater Review, the Bourbon Daily, the Bourbon Show, the Last Beer Show, the Bourbon Chronicles, and we've got a couple more in the pipeline coming your way. Actually, Steve has another show launching. I'm going to plug that while we're here, too. It's called Beer Reviews with Pepper and the Colonel. That is Pepper Roth and Steve Akeley. So be sure to check that out. That's coming your way as well. All of our shows can be found in iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So go in there, give us some reviews for all these shows, especially this one. Love to hear your feedback and your reviews, 5 stars preferably, but we like your feedback too. We like to know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. Let us know what you want us to review. We'd love to hear from you. So that wraps it up, this episode of the Firewater Review, where we reviewed Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit single barrel bourbon, and it received a score of 88.5. That does it. Cheers.
Later.
This episode brought to you by WhiskeyThreads.com. That's WhiskeyThreads.com. Whiskey Threads is modern whiskey gear for those who know whiskey. Just a quick reminder to drink responsibly.